Welcome to Korean Ruins. I'm Lawrence Shaw. This is Derek Pittman, and we're here at the 2025 Festival of Archaeology in Divis in Belfast. It is an absolutely staggering location. We've come up the Divis Mountain and they have put on a bumper feast of archaeology for us. It's great. The mist has just started to lift. We can see Belfast in the distance. We've got beautiful hilly landscapes around us, and we are in a palimpsest of archaeology all around of us. I mean, we've got so much to do today. I think we're going to have a look at an excavation, have a go at flint napping, look at some finds, talk to all of the cool people here. It's going to be amazing. That's it. I think the key point there is talking to all the much more interesting people than us here and learning about their career in ruins, learning about their specialisms, and maybe trying some of it ourselves. I cannot wait. And also, I hear there's quite good coffee here. Oh, well, should we get on with it? Let's do it. First up, we wanted to learn a little bit more about the festival itself. It's taking place at venues across the country, but the launch event's right here in Northern Ireland. So what made the Council for British Archaeology pick Belfast? I've been asking Amanda Jones, one of the trustees of the CBA, what it means to have an event like this come to Northern Ireland.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? You know, to have one of the UK's leading heritage organisations, the CBA, decide and want to come to Belfast and host the launch of this year's Festival of Archaeology here on Divis Mountain is just great. It's fabulous.
The CBA does huge amounts at bringing archaeology to the attention to people, and selfishly for me, bringing us potential students. But it's fair to say archaeology as a discipline is probably in a bit of a transitional phase at the moment. Where do you see the CBA's role developing over the next few years?
I feel very passionately about the role that our past and our understanding of the past, and of course that's maybe easier for me to say, you know, being from Northern Ireland originally, this understanding and interest in our past and how it can inform the decisions we make today and what we go on to be inspired to do in the future. So I'm keen that the CBA continues to work at a national level, but very much is that one of those lead partners who's facilitating conversations, who's enabling partnerships across the heritage sector with a number of our colleagues, for example, who are here today as well, and just inspiring young people. I guess I think the CBA's role is very much about that kind of national level engagement, working with our partners and celebrating and promoting and encouraging all our young people and all of us throughout our lives to engage with our past and see how both socially and economically it can really impact our lives today and what we go on to do in the future.
The National Trust have got fully behind this year's festival, throwing open their doors to help people discover archaeology. Lawrence has been speaking to Tom Dommett, Head of Historic Environment at the National Trust.
Tom, it's another Festival of Archaeology and the National Trust have stepped up to host the launch event again this year. Talk us through where we are, the significance of Divis and what's going on.
It's something we really look forward to and value as part of the Festival of Archaeology. We are so passionate about how we can support it and how we can amplify it where possible and how we can just be a part of it and help others to take part. So we absolutely love playing a really active role in it. And yeah, we're up here, beautiful Divis and the Black Mountain. We are sitting on a couple of large rocks and boulders which are encircling a small excavation site at the moment. We are on a mountain that has seen amazing change, has had amazing significance, has had some really challenging and contested stories around it as well. And part of the work that's going on today as part of this launch event for the Festival of Archaeology is a small excavation of a site here, but also loads of crafts and activities, stalls, talks, tours, all sorts of stuff, all the beautiful celebrations of archaeology at its best.
Absolutely fantastic, and we couldn't have chosen a more beautiful location to be stationed for the launch event. And it's nice to be outside because I feel like cultural heritage, archaeology, things like that
often the launch events will be inside a castle or sort of contained in a space, but we are exploring a whole landscape today.
The connections that you get from this spot out into the landscape, whether you're looking off to the Mourns, whether you're looking over the other side of the mountain, you're looking down on Belfast. It's a really brilliant spot to sort of be taking in the big sweep of a landscape and the big sweep of history. It's really cool.
Yeah, well said, well said. So in terms of the National Trust and the Festival of Archaeology, obviously it's a launch today, but I'm sure it's not the only thing that you guys are putting on over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think we've got about 100 different events going on over the next 2 weeks, over about 50 or 60 National Trust places in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. There is loads going on. We really see the festival as like an accessible entry point for people, you know, to who maybe haven't engaged with a lot of archaeology before, to get into it for the first time.
And who is it we have in the track? This is Maura. Hiya Maura, how are you doing?
How are you doing?
And so is this your first excavation, or have you been involved for a while now?
I'm an ex-archaeologist.
Okay, excellent.
Who
so
is
you're
now
a
desk
safe
bound?
pair of hands.
Yes, I did a few days last year on the first season.
Right.
So I'm actually delighted to be able to come back up and do a second season, because I don't get to do this every day anymore. It's great to get an opportunity as an ex-archaeologist, but also as a volunteer as well, and to be able to help out as well with new volunteers on site. I'm here as support.
And I guess with regards to those volunteers and the participants, you must, particularly those that haven't done anything like this before, and you're teaching them all the processes that Mal talked us through there in terms of from beginning to end, you must see some beautiful developments in there.
It's amazing when you get someone who's never been to college, to you know, who has no background to archaeology, never studied it, and for them to come out and to be able to give them the hands-on experience and just let them see and discover for themselves. And when they find their first bit of flint or their first bit of pottery, just that look in their face and the satisfaction that they have from it, it's amazing. I mean, even clearing off, at the minute we're clearing off 19th century rubble, which I really would rather not do and get to the Neolithic. But it's so satisfying after to clear it off, and now we'll be able to properly record it and photograph it, and we can teach people how to do that as well. And there's skills, there's skills that you can bring on anywhere type thing. And working as a team is really important for them. And while it's probably very much appreciated in England, it's more embryonic here, I think, for a community and for people to get their hands on. And so I always think it's good for the managers and bosses higher up to realise how much people can give back to if you just ask them.
My name's Ian Gillespie. I've been volunteering for the Ulster Archaeological Society since its inception. A lot of our work's been up here at Divis. There's so many sites up here.
Every time I come up here, you look like the busiest person on the hillside. What are you up to today?
I'm just a worker. I'm great and good. We're revisiting a site that we've excavated 2019 and then last year. So this is our third season here. This site was always traditionally called Divis Cashel. The 2019 dig unearthed evidence of farm buildings. They had taken what was originally an older structure and remodeled it for cattle. In our dig last year, we got down through the 19th century cobble floor and started to discover pits from which we excavated Neolithic pottery and a number of post holes. Typically that was the very end of the dig when you get to the good stuff. So that's why we're back this year.
What got you into volunteering with these guys?
Just sort of developed an interest in archaeology a long time ago now. I would just get an OS map and find the archaeological features and go out and try and find them. And then I became aware of the UAS, Ulster Archaeological Society, and joined that. Just from watching Time Team, as everybody says.
It's got a lot of us into archaeology Time Team, hasn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, I can see you've got a lot spoiled to move here, so I should let you get on. But thank you so much for chatting to me.
No, it's a pleasure.
My name is Malachy Conway and I'm the Trust's Northern Ireland Regional Archaeologist. We're standing in a site that has, from last year anyway, we have found evidence for Neolithic, probably end of the Middle Neolithic into the sort of later Neolithic. So when I say that, you're looking sort of 3,000, 3,200 BC. So we've got pits and post holes, stake holes, subsoil cut features that show us the footprint and the outline of what looks like some structural remains. But it's directly below this enclosure site that was used in the mid-19th century as a sheepfold. So it's strange in the sense that when you excavate the site, and you've got these cobbled surfaces that lead into little shepherd's huts within this circular enclosure. And when you lift the floor of those sort of cobbled surfaces, directly below it, you're finding spreads of Neolithic pottery.
Jumping 10,000 years back.
Yeah, exactly. You step from like 1850s and you just step off a cobble and you're into sort of 3000 BC. So what we're doing at the moment is we're trying to explore the extent of this prehistoric activity. And our ultimate aim is to find out the origin of the enclosure itself. Like all these things, it's a giant 3D jigsaw puzzle. And all we're doing is peeling all the different parts of it apart. And we're trying to find the earliest remains here and right through all the sequence of its development. So at the minute, this is the earliest settlement that we have so far discovered on Divis.
With regards to the work then, what's the plan? What's the target? You've got a beautiful trench here. You've got is this a willing volunteer we have in the trench?
This is a willing volunteer. But this is only the start. We only opened this yesterday. Soon we'd have something open for the festival's launch. Our intention is to have an area open. It's about 7 by 4 metres.
And what are the targets?
Well, the target is, at this stage, this is 19th century sort of like rubbled walls, so collapsed walls. You've got pieces of iron and so forth coming through. But we have to record all the later levels to get down into the earlier ones. So while we know from previous excavations that about 20, 25 centimetres below this level will be straight into the Neolithic, we've got to record all this first of all.
Right.
So it is an opportunity for people not just to come in to take part in, shall we say, the excavation of the good bits, but they'll see the process, how we record in the trenches, how we relate that to what we found the previous year. So they see the process of archaeology in play.
If you're enjoying what we got up to in Northern Ireland, then there's loads more on the Career in Ruins YouTube channel. You can watch us find out about the people uncovering the past, or indeed become one of them by volunteering at an archaeological dig at the festival. But there's so much more on offer here. You can also try your hand at a whole variety of ancient crafts.
I'm Tom Harg. I'm an archaeologist and I'm demonstrating flint knapping using locally sourced Antrim, County Antrim flint, and just demonstrating how a lot of these tools would have been made and used in the Mesolithic, Neolithic into the Bronze Age. It's essentially going from larger hammerstones to smaller hammerstones, and you're just breaking it down, finding that bit of flint that's maybe a bit more pure, a bit more workable. You're breaking it down, you're finding edges that you can sort of see a tool in. You may start with an idea of wanting to make something in particular, or you may create flakes that will become a better tool.
Yeah.
Something that you want.
Do you reckon I could have a quick go?
Yeah. Oh, hammerstone, that's the good one.
So with hammerstones, it really is the size that counts.
Yeah, it is, definitely, yeah.
Is there any bit I'm allowed to?
You can crack into one of those big
ones. One of these big ones.
It might not break now, but...
All right, let's have a go.
Yeah, see if you can get something off it anyway.
Whoa.
Oh, you got a flake there. That's the start of a scraper.
So I could then work this down. Would I still use hammerstones, or is
So
there any other tools?
You would move down, and this is your antler tine then, and that's for getting a fine edge. On the flaked edge, it's incredibly sharp, but incredibly fragile as well. And depending on the use of the tool, so this would be good as it is for cutting hides, for cutting meat or whatever. But if you wanted to go into woodworking or maybe hide scraping, that very fragile edge is just going to break. You can reinforce the edge with a technique called retouching or pressure flaking. And you're essentially using the edge of this to make tiny little removals. So from that big strike you did, essentially it's the same process, just on a tiny scale.
Okay, yeah.
And the way that's done is you basically just gently press into the edge of the flint, and you're just removing these tiny little flakes the whole way along, and it's shaping it as well. What you're doing then is you're going from a very, very fragile edge to a robust, almost, acts as serrated.
Yeah, a bit like a serrated kitchen knife.
Exactly.
So good for cutting sinew and stuff like that.
Yeah, the tougher stuff. So you're going from slicing to cutting.
That's fantastic. So in terms of surviving in the Neolithic, do you reckon I'd have a place? Do you reckon I could do it?
Oh, yeah. So it seems like a lovely time to survive. There's plenty of food about the place, plenty of raw materials.
Love it.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for that. Much appreciate it. One of the things I really loved about the Festival of Archaeology's launch event is that ability to get hands-on. Not only could you volunteer in a trench and practice the ancient art of flint knapping, there was also the opportunity to get up close and personal with archaeological artefacts. Many of them were brought along by Northern Archaeological Consultancy. Lawrence caught up with Katie McGonigal from the company, who's been telling him about some of her favourite objects that have been brought along.
As a commercial archaeology company, we can pull from so many sites in Northern Ireland, everything from 10,000 years ago right through to the post-medieval period. So for me, as a flint specialist, one of the really lovely things is a hollow scraper. So we got to show some people the hollow scrapers, and I think to show something that's very unique to here. They're only found in Ireland, they're not found across the British Isles, and they're early Neolithic in date. We think possibly they're used for trimming bark off of sticks, possibly to use to help to make arrowheads and things like that. But they're very unique.
I think Derek had a go at making one of these with the
yes,
flint napper.
with Tom,
okay,
yes.
That's excellent. So that's a unique sort of flint artefact, flint tool.
Yeah, from here. And I think that's really special for us here to have something that's just for us here. I think it's great. The other thing as well is for me is it tells a story of people think flint work is just, blades, just to do normal day-to-day things, but I think to show something so unique and so well made is showing also that flint working is a really important trade in the prehistoric period. It's not just something somebody can do. Yeah, that's a lot of time and effort to actually make something like that, so it's beautiful.
There were some beautiful bits of sort of prehistoric pottery that you had as well.
Yeah, so we were lucky. We've got everything from sort of like funerary pots and things like that to also domestic pottery. And domestic pottery really, for any site that we have, shows the day and daily life of somebody, and I think that's really cool. Because it's lovely having these big sites, but actually everybody's normal day to day is quite interesting in archaeology. So we had some nice Neolithic carinated bowls, which we again early Neolithic in date, we find in large rectangular houses normally here in Ireland. And again, I think for me it's like looking at those and thinking those are actually like burnt at one side. That's obviously where somebody was cooking their dinner. And then you do get into the nice sort of decorated urns and things like that again are more akin to what your funerary aspect. So you have the living aspect of everybody day to day, and also then right through to their death too.
Yeah, it's lovely. And in terms of the functionality, in terms of the production and of those pots, do you see any differences in terms of manufacturing techniques?
Yeah, so in the Neolithic period, actually they're very good at their pottery making. It's very fine, it's very well made. I was very lucky. I dug a site actually that was an early Neolithic house, and about 70 metres away is possibly the kiln. That shows that they're doing it, it's local. It is their pottery with their clay from where they live. It's class. But as you move into the Bronze Age, specifically here in Ireland, the weather gets very bad. It gets very, very wet, but also the pottery gets very, very bad. And we think that's because of the environment. They can't dry the clays. So it gets very chunky. It's very broken. It's very rare that we find a lot of domestic pottery actually intact. There is a lot of change. And then you go into the early medieval period where you're getting glazed pottery, and then again back into wheel thrown pottery and imported wares. You'll see green glaze here, which you would see akin in England as well. So I think the pottery alone is such a good, span of time, so it is that it shows such differences in time as well and how it's made.
Have you guys had a good day today?
Oh yes, to be honest, I didn't know what to expect. I've never been to something like this before, but it has been amazing. And so many people have asked so many good questions. I love some of the kids also coming and giving me skulls of dinosaurs that we have, apparently, and all sorts of other animals, crocodiles, yeah. So I think it's been lovely, a lovely mix of people, lovely, good generation ages from everybody who's here, and I think it's been perfect. It's been a pleasure.
There's been so much to do at the Festival of Archaeology's launch event. We've learnt so much and been able to speak to so many interesting people who are passionate about archaeology and the history of this inspiring landscape. The festival has a very important theme this year. Lawrence caught up with Neil Redfern, the Executive Director of the Council for British Archaeology, who's been telling him more about it.
Yeah, so we've gone for archaeology and wellbeing this year. As you know, the CBA is co-chair of the Heritage and Wellbeing Working Group of Historic England, and we are really keen to actually showcase how archaeology, particularly archaeology, works really well with some of the themes to wellbeing.
I mean, well-being is quite a broad term. It could encompass a lot of things. So how do you see archaeology in particular feeding into that well-being sort of provision?
Archaeology is physical activity, so go dig, everybody, because you will feel better for doing it. Archaeology is also a stimulus to curiosity, and curiosity, it works best when you get out somewhere. And my mum always used to say, when you get lost is the best time in the world to learn something, because if you're lost, you don't know something. So actually, it opens your mind up to actually how you start looking at the world. So I think archaeology and well-being works really there. So let's imagine archaeology is actually a multifaceted set of lenses through which we all as individuals look at the places around us. Archaeology, our job is to help get those lenses in focus.
We are in the middle of the countryside. I know Belfast is just over the hill there, but many people that will come here will think, oh, this is a nice natural landscape. This is very picturesque. It's very nature rich, but actually we know as heritage professionals that this is a palimpsest of deep history and deep time, and there's lots going on, but perhaps people may not recognise that more regularly.
I think we're really good at putting these broad sweeping narratives on places and actually missing the direct human interaction with those places. Also, over time, as technology's actually changed, our direct need to have one place sustain us has shifted slightly. Or you could say, actually, we've taken the farmstead where we lived and we've replaced it with our supermarket. So actually, each of the farmsteads out here, you could view them as a mini supermarket, because that's the function they were actually doing, is they were helping people get sustenance and helping them survive in the world and what they actually needed to do. And for me, what is so fascinating, even in these vast landscapes that we think are natural, well, there's not one single piece of natural landscape on the islands that we live on. We have so interacted with these environments that we've changed them and they've changed us. And I think the place we're really at now is, how do we create a much deeper narrative around that relationship between us and the landscape. And what's also really interesting is there is a landscape of exclusion here. We're on prime MOD land. Well, it was until the National Trust took it over. So this was land where people were excluded from. They were not allowed in here. So again, when you actually understand the recent history of Belfast and Northern Ireland and some of that way that people were excluded from places, this becomes an even more powerful conversation to actually understand what it feels like to get back out into these places, to be able to go and explore those.
So with regards to the Festival of Archaeology this year, it's a start today. We've got a fortnight of events taking place. How many events have you got registered so far, and what sort of things can people expect to do?
Oh my gosh, you can expect lots of things to do. We've got over 400 events actually logged. There are many more individual activities, because a lot of events run throughout the whole festival fortnight. It ranges from actually everything, lots of guided walks, lots of museum, exhibitions, talks, lectures, to lots of children's activities. I'm actually going to be doing some sword making at Cirencester Museum. I'm doing some guided walks down in Somerset, which will be amazing as well. I'm heading off into South Wales. And then for us, everything culminates in 2 weeks at Cliff Castle in Keighley, which is in Bradford, where we're going to help celebrate Bradford being capital of culture.
Oh, that's a fantastic end to the fortnight. Well, as ever, Neil, it sounds absolutely fantastic. We're wishing you all the success over the next 2 weeks, and we encourage everyone to get engaged, go and check out the website and try a few things out for themselves. But as ever, thank you very much for having Career in Ruins along for this journey, and it's been a pleasure to be here with you.
You're very welcome. We love having Career in Ruins along with us, and always asking the right questions that need to be asked.
I'm going to go one more time and we'll give everyone a shot. One more time.
We have had a fantastic day here at Divis for the opening of the Festival of Archaeology. And just as we begin to wrap up, the sun is peeking through the clouds. There is no better location to remember the theme of this year's festival, well-being. And it's fair to say a day out in this archaeology surrounded by thousands of years of history has certainly improved my mood.
It has been fantastic, and it just leaves us to say a huge thank you to the Council for British Archaeology, to the National Trust, their regional staff for hosting us and everyone else, and to you, our Patreon supporters who make all of this possible. So we'll be back soon. We hope you've enjoyed it, and stay tuned.